We're ready to get started. Thank you for coming out to the second community conversation. And we're going to have Dr. Pollard give an opening, and Mayor Stewart is on her way. Oh, there. Sorry. So Mayor Stewart. All right. That's right. I see.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for the folks who came for the first of these series of meetings, for coming back for the second meeting. And thank you to those for whom this is the first meeting. Dr. Pollard and I have urged people to take part in these important and at times difficult discussions because they are so critical. They're not just critical to make sure that the math science building gets built, but these meetings are also critical for starting to forge a better relationship between the college, the city, and all of our neighbors. We have agreed to the public dialogue to ensure stakeholders have an opportunity to consult with the college on its building and renovation plans, which includes discussing the pros and cons of various locations for the new math science building. Our overall goal, which we have stated numerous times, is that we want to meet both the academic and enrollment needs of the college and preserve the residential historic character of the neighborhood. Now, I'm going to be absolutely frank with all of you. I don't know if we got it right tonight. We'll see. But I do know that we have spent a lot of time preparing, a lot of time going back and forth, a great deal of time listening to all the feedback we got from the last meeting. And I do know that there will be times this evening and as we proceed that we will not all agree. There'll be things that we disagree on. But with this in mind, I ask all of us, and I remind myself of this as well, that we come tonight assuming good intentions and that we bring the best of ourselves tonight and for the process moving forward. So again, I want to thank you and welcome you here this evening. And now I'll turn it over to Dr. Pollard.
Perhaps I too should have worn my yellow shoes, Miss Kate. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight, and I'm delighted to be here with the college community. I know that each of us has extremely busy lives, and the fact that you chose to be here tonight to be a participant in this set of conversations means that you're sharing time with us, and I'm very grateful for that, and I appreciate the conversations that we're going to have this evening. I want to acknowledge and express a deep appreciation for our partnership with the City of Takoma Park. We've worked closely with Mayor Kate Stewart and also City Councilmember Peter Kovar to plan these meetings, to come to an agreement about our roles and the objectives of these meetings. As Kate described, has certainly been a lengthy and engaged process of doing that. Together, we have crafted a process that is intended to be inclusive and give all stakeholders an opportunity to participate, to hear your feedback, your thinking, your concerns, and certainly your ideas. John Antonisak, our facilitator, I know where he is, thank you, is helping us to ensure that we live up to those agreements and has held us accountable as we move through the process the last several months. And that all viewpoints have the opportunity to be shared and heard. To those of you who were with us at our last gathering, thank you for coming to tonight's meeting. And I know that some of you felt left out last time, that your voices were not heard, especially some of our neighbors from Silver Spring, and I regret that. And I know that the mayor also shares those concerns. We, the city and the college, want to hear from each and every one of you this evening. And I want to say to you again this evening, our goal for the college with respect to the future of the campus is to balance the needs of our neighbors, the community, the students, and to do that with fiscal prudence and sustainability. I want your feedback to achieve that balance. Dr. Sanjay Rai, he's back there in the back of the room, who's our Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, is with me tonight. He and I, along with Mr. Marvin Mills, our new Vice President for Facilities and Security, is also here. The three of us are ready to listen and to answer questions as we design the program tonight. And I know that working together, we can advance the modern facilities that our students need, respect the neighborhood, and also be responsive to the fiscal demands of our decision makers. Thank you, Mayor Stewart, for your partnership, and I look forward to the conversation this evening. And John, I believe I turn it back over to you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I forgot one part of my job. I was supposed to recognize some other people who have joined us this evening. I want to recognize our County Council member, Tom Hucker, and thank him for coming. And our City Council member, Peter Kovar, is here. And if I've missed anybody, I apologize. Now we'll turn it over to John.
Thank you. Well, that sets the tone for the meeting tonight. And what I'd like to do is go over the agenda with you, the process that we're going to go through, and also the objectives for the community conversations. When you arrived, you should have picked up an agenda, as well as a yellow sheet and an index card. All right. If not, we'll supply those to you. The yellow card, I'll let you know now, will be used for several different functions. One, most importantly, is to get your feedback on your comments and questions that you may have throughout the evening. And if you would turn those in to us at the end of the evening, that would be appreciated. The white cards, the index cards, if you picked up one of those, that is for our evaluation at the end of the meeting. What worked well, what we would like to change or do differently. And the agenda is what we're going to follow through. All right. I'm your facilitator. I'm a neutral facilitator, as I will share with you in shortly. But I want to go over the community conversation objectives. That's the city and the college all agreed in the planning group who planned these community conversations. This is what we came up with, is to renew relations with the college and the community, ensure all voices are heard, provide a wealth to share information, as well as to have an open forum for facilitating future college planning, help inform and provide a foundation for the building design plan process, and last is to find the balance between the community, neighbors, students, and the fiscal prudence. The agenda for today, we have the opening and the welcome, and then we're going to go share with you the working together piece, which is what I'm doing now, and then look at the community conversation from the first one that we had, and share with you the input that we received. And there was a wealth of input, and we used that input to design tonight and also to address some of the key issues that are in front of us. And then you'll have the opportunity the college will address some of these processes and the rationale and the options that they have. And then we have an open forum for the community to provide input and questions. And I've asked two groups, one from Takoma Park and one from Silver Spring, to start off the conversations. And then it's open to all others to be able to participate. And we'll have a Q&A in between as we go through. And I'll give you more details when we get to that part. You with me so far? Okay. So, as I said, I'm a neutral facilitator. My interest is the process to get the desired outcome. I'm not vested in the recommendations that come out of this. I want to make sure that all parties are heard and that we have the most effective and efficient process that we can come up with given the history and the future and the past. And make sure that everybody has that equal voice. Our constraint always is time, and we'll go through some of the ground rules that I've established. Please listen, keep an open mind, be respectful of other points of view, be positive and courteous, be brief and meaningful when you're voicing your opinion. Seek common interests rather than digging on positions. Please honor time limits and commitments. Can we live by those today? Yes. Thank you. What is the time limit? Time limits are when we're speaking. How long is the time limit? All right, the meeting goes till 9 o'clock today. The comment part. the comments. We'll have roughly 50 minutes, 55 minutes for comments. All right? And then when I get to that, I'll give you more definition of how far we go. All right? So just quickly, how many people were not here the last meeting? All right. Well, thank you for coming today. So I want to kind of give a little background of what happened last time, because I thought there would be several people who have not heard what happened. So this was our agenda the last time and how it was set up. And we had setting the context. We had Mr. Anderson from the County Planning Board, Dr. Pollard, Mayor Stewart, and Mr. Kovar give presentations about the community conversations in the state of where we are now. And then we had an opportunity for several members of the community to stand up and speak about their comments, thoughts, and we had approximately 20 people had the opportunity to do so. And then you had the chance to provide input, and we took all that input, and I'm going to share that with you shortly of why we're here today. So for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome again. And as we go through it, if you have other questions, please ask or ask your neighbor, and we'll help you out along the way. All right, so let me review with you the comments that we received and how we were able to take all that information. One is that we had comments and feedback, and as I said, we had 20 people speak publicly, and each person had 2 minutes. And so we had roughly 40 minutes of dialogue of one-way communication. But we took all that information, we condensed it down, and we have that all documented. Right. With those 20 public conversations, we also had people had blue sheets. Instead of the yellow sheets you have now, we had blue sheets last time where people could write their responses. And we had 26 of those who turned in their blue sheets. Now, blue sheets had many comments on them, so we had more than just 26 comments. And then you also had a chance to submit more feedback online. And we received 14 of those. So we had 60 people who had a chance to provide input. We had over 188 comments. Right? 188 out of all those. Right? And what we did with that is I looked through all of them, read through everything, and I tried to take all that information and find where the reoccurring and frequent of topics would come up. Right? And there was a lot of topics that were said over and over again. And so what I did was compile all those. So first, let me share with you all the feedback you can view at this website, which is also on your agenda. Right? So it's all public. And you'll find there's 3 different documents there, one for the public, the blue sheets, and the website. So if you want to read in more detail, it's available to you. So I took all those collective topics, and we came into 13 different topics that came up frequently, and frequently being more than 8 times. Right? And some went from 8 to about 15. That's about where the range was. And so I looked at those, and 13 topics, and so I put it into 3 different categories. I'm going to go through each category with you in a minute. And this is what the planning group also looked at and came up with these 3 general categories. One is location, right? Which is the big one. And we're going to spend probably more time on this one than we will with all the other ones. But I want to share all 13 with you tonight. So the first one was location. Second one was about process. And the third one was next steps, is where we put it into. And so if we look at each one of these, and I'll start with location first, what were some of the items that came up over and over again? And for location, we had 5 different topics that occurred over and over again. One was the big picture. Show us what the college is visioning, because that came up in the public comments as well as all the other ones. So we want to be able to share that. And then the next one came up about Falcon Hall, right? About the renovation, about the removal, about the swimming pool. That came up numerous times as well. The third one was potential expansion of options, such as the storage facilities, the auto body at Burlington Avenue, buildings on Fenton Street. So that was another one about different options. The fourth one came about the Blair Park, about not to build on a site, about the preservation of it, and the mansion. So that came up frequently. And again, I'm just summarizing all of these as general. There was much more details on all of these. And the last one was to honor the historic preservation, right, of the neighborhood. So it kind of categorized that just into the location. Right, so that's 5 of the 13. And these are probably the bigger ones that we want to talk about more than any other ones. And then the next category was process. Where can we find all these documents? Where can I find the master plans? Where can I find the PDFs or the project description forms? Right? Where are they located? So we'll have that information for you as well. Right? We'll have the website, and we're going to give you another handout that has all of that information for you. Right? We talked about, well, another process was the lack of Silver Spring representation. We recognize that, and we want to make sure we can do right by that. But that was a process piece. The third one is show a timeline of the master plan of the process and the construction. A lot of people had questions about what is the whole process with the master plan? Right? How does it start? Where does it end? Right? What's the construction process? Right? And that, again, came up frequently. Now, I know a lot of you know this, and some do not. So we want to, again, this is for the whole community to be knowledgeable about. And the third one is to create a working group that can look at the site, the aesthetics, the design, everything else that we talked about. And so that was another one that came up frequently. And that, again, that's a process piece. The third category was next steps. And we had a number of people said, show us the renderings of the new proposed buildings. And another one was, what's the aesthetics and the design of the building? As well as, we need to know more about the parking, the traffic, the bike issues currently, during construction, after construction, and so forth. And then the other one was the chemical lab safety. That came up frequently as well. So these 13 items, 3 categories, is what we want to focus in on today. Are there many other items? Absolutely. Are we going to resolve any or all of these today? Who knows? But we're going to have a chance to at least talk about them more than a one-way dialogue. So how are we going to go about doing that? Well, one thing is we're going to do, as in the agenda, is to have that Montgomery College come up and share with us the rationale, the process of in addressing those 13 issues, as well as giving us some more information about the master plans and where they're going with it from here. I ask that if, as you are listening, if you have questions, comments, you had the yellow sheet, write them down. Right? Afterwards, we're going to have time for Q&A, right? And I'll talk about the process on that a little bit later. We good? All right. Okay, yes. Oh, thank you very much. Now's a good time. The college, we asked that the college address all 13 of those items. And the FAQs, frequently asked questions, on the 13. And they came up with concise and precise answers, for lack of another word, to the 13 items for you to have as well. And then there's another sheet coming around, right, the chemical lab. Yes. All right, then there's another sheet that they address the chemical lab safety and give you an idea of what chemicals are used in the chemistry labs. So I'll give you a couple minutes just to collect these and look at it, and then we'll get started and have Mr. Marvin Mills come up in a minute. Yes.
How much time have you reserved for the Q&A period?
We have around 50 minutes for that.
50 minutes.
Yes. I'd be glad to. This one? Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Everybody have a form, a sheet? All right. Mr. Mills? Let me get to you. Thanks, John. You're welcome.
Good evening, can everybody hear me?
No.
Nope.
That's fine. A little just get. Nope. No, hold on.
What have I done here?
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody coming tonight, and please bear with me. I'm from Georgia, so if you need a translator for my accent, please let me know. Being pretty new to the college and to this area, I had to do some research on my own for this particular subject, and I had my staff talk to me about all the different conversations and issues that have been brought forth over the last few years. But first, I thought we want to talk a little bit about the master plan and the vision. The master plan really is a long-range plan for what the university needs to do with their facilities to support their academic master plan. The academic master plan actually drives what we need to do with our facilities. It talks about what we need to do with renovations, new construction, infrastructure, traffic, pedestrians, looking at also the needs of the community. It's a very holistic plan, and I think you'll find that we've tried to do a lot of good due diligence, and hopefully with some input tonight, we can do some more good due diligence. The Takoma Park Silver Springs campus is basically a full-service campus. We provide all the different academic services that all the students in the area need. High quality, very affordable. We actually have to address the needs of the students. We've got a lot of students that basically ride the bus or walk to class. About 46% of our students don't drive to this campus. We got about another 4% that have drive up, drop off, and then the rest of them kind of drive. So you can see we've got issues with parking, we've got issues with trafficability, we have issues with our pedestrians, and all that's going to be addressed in the master plan. We also looked at long-term what needs to happen on the campuses, and so we're looking at basically just doing some modernization on the Takoma Park side of the campus. All our expansion is going to be to the Silver Spring side of campus, so just to kind of caveat that right off the bat. You've got this in your handout. I'm not going to read all these slides to you because you've got this, and I know you're very intelligent. I don't need to repeat all this, but we do have some vision guidelines, and of course we need to develop and renovate our facilities, support our academic and student programming, which is very key to us continuing to be very successful. We do want to preserve the character of the neighborhood. That's one of our driving thoughts, and one of the things that I'm committed to doing. And we also want to look at how we investigate our growth toward the Silver Spring side of the campus. The 2006 to 2016 master plan had the Science North and Science South as the two facilities that were going to be actually demolished and replaced. The 2013 to 2023 master plan actually moved it down, and so we're continuing to demolish Science South, but we're also projecting we would take down Falcon Hall. And this is based on several things that we'll talk about in a little bit. A larger version of this, and you can kind of see, and let me see if I can get my my laser pointer out here. This is Science North and Science South here. Those are the two buildings in the older master plan that we would actually demolish and renovate. And a larger version of our current master plan shows that we would be building a new building on Science South and Falcon Hall. A written comparison of the two kind of shows where we have our differences. Basically, the ideas was we were looking at rejuvenating what's on the original campus, preserving the existing historical nature of our neighborhood. We need to foster interdisciplinary studies, and Dr. Rye will talk about that a little bit later. And of course, I've talked about the differences with the older master plan, replacing Science North and Science South. The new master plan recommending that we take down Science South and replace Foster Hall, also Falcon Hall also. Some of the benefits of the newer master plan, it's a shorter time frame. It's actually now a design of 2 years and construction of 2 more years, so about a 4-year process that we would do. In the older master plan, it would be about at least 8 years. We'd have to take one building down after design, which is 4 years, design the next building and take that one down and construct that one, which is another 4 years. So we're looking at about an 8-year process for the 2006-2016 master plan versus about 4 years for the 2013-2023 master plan. We did some supplemental studies as part of the 2013 to 2023 master plan. We had a test fit analysis done for what we call parking lot W1, which is about I think about a 200-car parking lot. And it looked like if we had to build on that site, it would be an 8-story lab and math building. And that's very massive for the neighborhood. And it's kind of problematic also for the university. We cannot put in all the different sections that we need combined together, because in our academic process, we like to have classrooms, student support spaces, and laboratories all in the same area. And with an 8-story building, it's very, very difficult to do that. Very difficult to do that. We also had a market study done on the Fenton Street area to look at those properties there, about the affordability of those for us building and procuring and building on those. And we also had several facility condition assessments done by VFA. That's a very real reputable firm out of Boston. And what they do is, at a lot of universities and colleges, they do all the condition assessments. They actually walk through the buildings. They look at the roof, the windows, the structure of the building, the age, how much it would cost to repair it, build it new. They look at all the different code issues, from life safety, which is your sprinklers, your fire alarms. They look at the accessibility for physically challenged students and visitors. And they came up with some very interesting things that we had to take into consideration as we did our next master plan. As I talked about, the master plan shows the different areas there, and I've got the previous master plan. Oops, excuse me there, I'm going back. The previous master plan would be 4 stories. That's a very massive edifice on that particular area. have rooftop handling units, so basically be almost 5 stories high. By the time you get all the rooftop units that would evacuate all the air out of the laboratories, you're almost talking about a 5-story building. The gross square footage is about the same. The project cost is almost $88 million. As I talked about, it's a dual-phase project with phase 1 of the first phase being the design of the Science South, and then demoing and taking down Science South. And then the second would be take down Science North. So as I said, we took before, it's an 8-year project. A long project, lots of construction there. Our current plan is a 3 stories, with looking at 2 stories on the lower end of it and 3 stories on the back end of it. Again, rooftop units, but we can do some heroic things, I think, to kind of help with that. Gross square footage, we're trying to keep it about the same because of the needs of the academic programs. We're going to save about $2 million on this particular, if we do this particular one. It's a single-phase project. So the design will start this fall and end in the fall of 2019, with construction beginning very soon thereafter and hopefully being in that building about the fall of 2021. Let's see here. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Rye, and he'll talk to you a little bit about the academic part of the program. Dr. Rye?
Thank you again. My name is Sanjay Rai, and I work at Montgomery College in academic affairs. I'm not from Georgia, so accent will not be a problem. But my colleague, Mr. Marvin's job is to take care of outside of the building, and we are very seriously interested in inside. How do we design inside of the building that gives us an opportunity to teach contemporary 21st century science? What is 21st century science? It's an integrated science. It's not about separating math from biology and biology from chemistry and physics from mathematics. To just give you your motivation, just a few years ago, a physicist won Nobel Prize for biology, right? So that's where the science is going. And this building is being built for the next 40, 30, 40, 50 years. So we have to design it with that futuristic idea of sciences. And in that, mathematics becomes central. So we teach courses like already calculus for life sciences. So life sciences and calculus, mathematics has to be in the same vicinity as we design this building. We teach physics for life sciences. So physics and life sciences is co-taught. They have to be together. We have faculty teach a course called Newton's Bridge. What is that? It's a learning community of mathematics and calculus. Mathematics, calculus and physics. A lot of calculus came, the Newton's observation of apple falling and all that. So because of problems in physics, right? A lot of mathematics developed because of problems in physics. So we teach mathematics from that perspective. Now in 21st century, because of human genome sequences and other things, a lot of mathematics is developing because of questions that are arising in biology. So the point is, this building is an integrated science building where all necessary component of science, that is mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, they will be together. So that's my little presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rye. I think there's a handout, and we should have some supporting documents. On the handout you have that's called Facts. On the back page, if you look, there's a link to all the different information we would hope you would need. If you need any other information, please don't hesitate, and we will make sure we put that on that website. But we talk about our academic master plan, which is kind of driving everything, our facilities master plan, our consultant analysis. We actually have our capital project list on there, so we know how we budget, how the county is budgeted for us also. We have the real estate assessment so that you can see how we made some of those decisions and the information that they provided us. the new building footprint, which I think is key to someone. Some folks need to know that here, and we're committed to working on that. And of course, our West Campus Master Plan, which shows our expansion. So at that point, I think we are ready to maybe turn it back over to Mr. John.
Thank you. Okay, you've heard some of the 13 categories that were listed, and they are also addressed in that sheet. You'll also find a lot of these documents on the city's website as well. If you're looking for other places. The college also in that FAQ sheet has an email, community at, whatever it is, I don't have it in front of me. Thank you. That you can submit more questions there if you like. And then the slides and the FAQs will all be posted on the website there tomorrow. So that's all available to you electronically as well. So what we want to be able to do is be able to discuss some of these items that were brought up as the 13 categories, or the 3 categories, 13 topics, as well as what was just presented. And I have the request of you being able to ask the questions and then getting answers from the college or whomever may be able to answer these questions. I have 2 groups that I spoke with in advance because they asked to speak with me, and as representatives from Takoma Park and representatives from Silver Spring. They do not speak for everybody, right? They will tell you that up front. But I wanted to give them an opportunity to be able to share some of their thoughts, comments, and questions first, and then I'll open it up for general questions from the audience. Right? Each of them will have around 7 or 8 minutes to speak, right? So they can answer, and then we'll have time to answer some of the questions that may be posed. And then I will ask you if you'd like to speak, and I'm going to ask you to not spend as much time as 7 or 8 minutes, but less than 3 if you can, and then we'll respond to those as well. Okay? Time is a constraint. Right? If you agree with a comment that is being made by one of the speakers, the yellow card, if you just kind of hold that up as a visual so we can see how many people support that as well. All right? It's a great way for us is to kind of do an assessment of how many people are in agreement to that piece. Does that work? Right. Yeah.
I guess we came too late and don't have yellow cards?
We'll make sure you have them.
Thank
Here
you.
they come.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else? We have a few more. And while that's being passed out, Susan Alexander. She's going to speak in behalf of Takoma Park. One second, make sure that we have.
Okay.
As we do that, let me just go over a couple of things as I mentioned. I mentioned these as we state, and written thoughts and comments, and just be respectful and professional to each other as we go through the process. All right, Susan.
Thanks. So because our time is short, I'm going to read this, but I'll try to be interesting. And it's not a response to what the college just talked about because I didn't know what they were going to say. All right. Good evening. My name is Susan Alexander. I've lived on Takoma across from the Commons building for the past 24 years. I'm speaking on behalf of a large number of North Takoma residents who live close to the college. Thanks for this opportunity. If you attended the previous meeting on March 21st, you might be wondering, what is the issue here? The issue is the location of a very, very large building. The issue is not our neighborhood's respect and support for Montgomery College. My neighbors and I are proud that Takoma Park is home to a community college which offers opportunity to underserved populations in our county, and we value and support its mission. And the issue is certainly not whether Montgomery College math and science facilities should be modernized in order to offer the best possible preparation for its students' future studies. We agree with the students who spoke in March that it is outrageous that they still don't have up-to-date laboratories and equipment. The issue, however, is where those facilities should be located. The issue, and there are many ways to accomplish this, is how to meet Montgomery College student needs in a way that respects the residential nature of our neighborhood. We are here at this meeting tonight because of a broken promise. The college and the neighborhood have a long history of ups and downs. A major down was in the 1970s, when the college sought to condemn and demolish many of our houses to expand the campus. Though some houses were demolished, that initiative was stopped, and some amends were made, one of which is the wonderful residential character of the current Eastern Campus, purposefully designed to blend in harmony with the remaining historic houses and Bell Ziegler Park, where our children play. The east side of the campus is low density and has residential-friendly function and character. Falcon Hall, for example, contains the school's swimming pool and gymnasium. So good was that 1972 design that it won an architectural award for the masterful way in which the harmonization was done. After bad times, relations reached a historic up in 2002 when the college sought a way to institutionalize the excellent rapport it had built with the community. To this end, in July of 2002, the college signed an agreement with the city, the county, and Historic Takoma, in which, to use the words of that agreement, to avoid the friction of the past, it declared its intention to drop its practice of unilateral decision-making and embark on a new collaborative relationship with the signatories of the agreement and the surrounding neighborhood. Around that time, the college purchased the former Giant Bakery site along Georgia Avenue and reaffirmed its commitment that the east side of the campus would retain its low-density residential character. Large buildings and increased density would be focused on the western part of the campus along the Georgia Avenue corridor. So, with those good intentions, how did we reach today's impasse? For years, the college said it wanted to replace Science South and Science North with modern facilities and renovate Falcon Hall. This was in keeping with the long-standing commitment to focus its development to the west that the college made with the purchase of the Giant Bakery site. The college put those initiatives in its 2006 to 2016 Master Development Plan, and the County Council approved building a new science and math building on the sites of Science North and Science South in its 2016 and 2017 budgets. Then, the college changed its mind. It unilaterally issued a new master plan in which, instead of building its new laboratory on the sites of Science North and South, across from the railroad tracks, it would tear down Falcon Hall, eliminate its swimming pool and other functions, and place a 135,000 square foot building, 3 to 4 commercial stories tall, on the corner of Takoma Avenue, directly across from Bell Ziegler Park and several residences. Larger even than the Student Services Center, also known as the Nunley Building, such a structure would tower over our houses. It would require many years of heavy construction with all the attendant dirt, dust, particulate pollution, diesel fumes, and pile driver noise next to the park, and it would put the park in direct line of any hazardous emissions should they occur from toxic chemicals stored and used in the new science lab. Is this the best choice for the community? Is this the only option for the college? As I stated before, the college long favored the far less destructive proposal to replace Science North and South. Another and even more attractive possibility is the Burlington Avenue property, which I think was just referred to as the W1 parking lot on the western campus, which the college promised for an academic building with parking underground in a previous master plan. Using Burlington has many advantages. With no demolition required, building could proceed quickly, design would not be constrained by concerns about building size and function, 8 stories would be fine over there, and the project would submit the neighborhood to the least amount of pain and suffering during construction. Now you might say, but can't the college do anything it wants with the land it owns? The answer to that is no. The college is legally bound by the 2002 agreement I mentioned earlier to collaborate with the city and the local community on any changes to campus structures at the earliest practicable stage. Building a tall building, tearing down a building, changing a building from a swimming pool into a laboratory, all those ideas should have been vetted with the community during the master plan update process, but none was. We wish to create a win-win outcome in which all stakeholders are respected and none are injured. It has been our experience that when new administrators join the college, they are not always apprised properly of the 2002 agreement, of the balances previously struck, or of the college's codified desire to institutionalize good relations through collaborative neighborly processes. But it has also been our experience that when these newcomers are fully up to speed, they generally want to do the right thing. We call upon you to signal your intentions in this matter this very evening by taking the demolition of Falcon Hall off the table and by committing to the formation of an appropriate small group to begin the consultation with the process with the community called for by the 2002 agreement. Tonight's forum is useful as a broad solicitation of ideas, but it does not constitute consultation. The only way to solve the problems at hand in a cooperative, respectful way is through a roll-up-your-sleeves working group where representatives of the city, the college, historic Takoma, and the local community can drill down into complicated issues with appropriate experts at our sides. We have an opportunity to set an example for the students of the college that responsible, community-minded people resolve their differences by negotiations and dialogue. We hope the college seizes this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for holding up your yellow cards as well. All right, we have another representative from Silver Spring who will also speak on some of these issues, and then we'll open it up for other dialogue. All right. And Edith Holman.
I'm also going to read mine. I'm Edith Holloman. I have lived at 813 Philadelphia Avenue in Silver Spring, 1/2 block from the college, since 1980. And this is the first time the college has ever asked me or any of my neighbors their opinion about any of their plans. I would like my statement and the petition of 130 residents of this community placed in the record of this meeting. I was like, wow, when I got the invitation in the mail. I thought the college was actually making us part of the planning process. Unfortunately, that does not appear to be the situation. We are being asked to approve their master plan 14 months after it was finalized and sent to the state, and almost a year after the county council told them to have conversations with this community. Today, before these conversations are over, the county council approved language about the design plans. Having, you can go ahead with the design plans as they are in the master plan. Now you can change them, but the statement is what's in the master plan. And what we know in the master plan is the destruction of Falcon Hall, which is my biggest interest. There are no plans for a timely replacement of Falcon Hall. Only vague promises of when we get the money and an acknowledgement that health and fitness is not a priority for this college. I suspect that most of you have not seen the master plan or did not know until you got here that your role is to rubber stamp the master plan. I was asked to be on this program to represent Silver Spring. I do not claim to represent Silver Spring. I don't know who does, if anyone. I represent the over 130 people who signed this petition saying, do not tear down Falcon Hall unless you have another fitness facility. The community, the students, and even some of the faculty had no idea that tearing down this building was a critical part of the college's master plan. For more than a decade, the college's previous master plans have been to renovate and expand Falcon Hall and replace the science buildings. That suddenly changed in late 2015. The college claimed that everyone within a quarter mile of the campus was invited to meetings in late 2015 when they rewrote the master plan. I was not. I live within a quarter mile of the college. None of my neighbors were. We found out about the new master plan from the school newspaper in May of 2016. No one who uses Falcon Hall was ever asked. We're not apparently an interest group or a focus group. I can guess that the majority of you present did not know about this and did not know that the master plan was quickly rewritten and stealthily rewritten in early 2016. No other option was considered except to tear down Falcon Hall. When I took the petition around, the common response from the people I talked to is, what? Why would they do that? I've been swimming at the college for more than 20 years, and I know there's 30 years. Sorry, there's other swimmers here. When I went to college, there were no fitness facilities for students who weren't athletes, and that meant girls didn't get any. I learned to swim in graduate school because my school built a fitness center for all of its students. Like most students, I had no money for private gyms and pools. I had no money for a car, so I began to bike. Those exercise patterns have stayed with me all these years, and some of you probably see me bike around. And people develop exercise patterns when they're young. We know that exercise is important for a healthy life. Today in the Washington Post, study on life expectancy was written up. It said people are less likely to live longer if they are poor, get little exercise, and lack access to health care. That describes many of the people in Montgomery County and many of our students. Depending on what happens to the Affordable Care Act, more and more of us may be responsible for our own health care. Exercise is a critical aspect of preventive health care and one of the few actions that we can take ourselves. We know that, but Montgomery College doesn't seem to. So here we have a campus whose focus is on health sciences, right? And training the health professionals who will be telling us that we all need more exercise. But their college is taking away their opportunity to exercise by telling them by their actions it's not important. Can you wrap your mind around that? A college that has a great indoor pool, a beautiful basketball court, a weight room, tennis courts, and racquetball courts that the college has refused to repair for 10 years, is going to rip it down when other schools are attracting students by building these facilities. The Takoma Park Silver Spring campus would be the only campus in the Montgomery County system with no athletic and fitness facilities for its students, staff, and the community. Not because they never had them, but because they decided to rip them out. So here we are, once again, the stepchild of Montgomery County, the last to get anything. The area is starved of public fitness facilities. Why? The college has a surface parking lot behind the Performing Arts Center, and by the way, it does not have 200 parking spaces. I was there today. That is supposed to be used for an academic building. So why not put the math and science building? Or you could put a fitness center there. It would be close to health sciences, and it could be built as high as zoning would allow. Parking could be underneath the building. But the college is refusing to consider it and told us, when we met with them, a group of us, that parking was more important than fitness. The college likes to claim that Falcon Hall is underutilized. Actually, hundreds of people use it multiple times every year. I've been swimming several days a week at the college for over 30 years. The pool is used 7 days a week by campus and community groups. Here's a partial list of recent users, and some of you, if you got my handout, it's got a more complete list on it. Over 80 community members swimming 3 or 4 times a week. Students, faculty, and staff open swim 60 a week. Student swim classes, always full, but cut back by the college from 5 to 2 a year. Montgomery Public Schools swim and dive teams for over 30 years. Good Counsel and St. John's High School. District of Columbia and Daleview Masters Swim Clubs. Local USS swim teams. Summer youth camps. There is not another building on the campus used 7 days a week. And this list does not include the student and outside use of the basketball court or the weight room, because I did not have time to collect that. Maybe by the next Too Late community meeting, I'll do that. I don't know if the administration even knows the extent of Falcon Hall's use beyond those of us who pay annual fees, and that's community members who pay annual fees. The provost indicated to us that he did not. I also know that the college does not advertise this terrific resource to the neighbors or to their own students or staff. There are no signs on the outside doors or the campus bulletin boards to even tell you when the public hours are. For example, you have to go inside the pool to find that out. I learned of the pool's existence by word of mouth. There used to be aerobic classes for seniors in that pool. They're not there. We have lots of seniors. Why?
Ms. Holman, I need you to wrap this up, please.
Okay. The college claims the students voted by their feet because they don't take PE classes. Well, I don't know about you, but when my daughter went to college, I didn't pay tuition for PE classes, but she used the fitness center almost every day. I want to add a comment about the planetarium, because part of this plan is an expanded planetarium with a conference room auditorium seating 200.
Please wrap it up, please.
Why is this? There's one introductory astronomy class at this campus. There are other conference rooms in the campus. So, is that why we're taking down Falcon Hall? We don't know. We want this conversation to continue and to be a real conversation with a candid, full discussion with the college of exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Show the yellow cards again, please. Right there, so I can. Right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. A lot of issues, a lot of concerns were brought up, and what I want to be able to do is open it up to some questions, and we'll try to fill those the best we can without going into depth of this. We know that we're not going to be able to resolve everything that was just brought up, right? But if we can get some of the questions that may be easy to answer, if there are easy answers, we'll look at it from that part. We have roaming mics, and what I'm going to ask you to do is state your name and your affiliation, whether you're with the community, the college, the parent, or so forth. And I will do the best I can to make sure I get as many stakeholders from different areas as I can as well. I am not doing it intentionally by not looking at you or ignoring you. I will try to do the best I can to get everybody in this. We have the panel up here, and let me get their microphone first. And let's start with this young lady here first, please. 1 minute.
Yeah, okay. My name is Dale Barnhard. I'm a swimmer, but I'm also a member of the community. And it says here that one of the objectives of the college and Takoma Park and this whole process of these meetings is to balance the needs of the community, neighbors, students, etc. So I would like that to really be taken seriously, that the athletic department is just as important. Craig, who has been the manager for over 30 years, is just as important part of this college as anybody else sitting there or anybody. So please consider the importance of phys ed. I'm 70 years old and I'm in great shape because of swimming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Again, if you're in agreement to what's stated, please show the yellow card. All right. Do we have a mic over on that side? Just you? All right. Right here. Yes.
Okay, here you go, ma'am.
Colleen Cordes, and I'm a neighbor a few blocks away on New York Avenue. And my daughter and myself have both taken classes there. Our family's very supportive of the student body and the faculty and the administration, and definitely want the students to have a really high quality science and math education, and hope you also integrate the humanities and the social sciences and the arts, because those are all integrating. But my question is, it sounds as if you should be able to tell us now an estimate of the height of that new science building. So if you could give us an estimate in feet of what the height of that building would be. That's my question. Thank you.
Mr. Mark, it's on.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned there, we're looking at on the far end of the site about a 2-story, and on the back side about a 3-story. 2 stories would be about 25 feet, and on the back side about 35 feet. And the HVAC above it, so we're talking about another 10 to 15 feet. So we're talking basically 40 feet to about 60 feet, which is a lot lower than a 4-story building on the previous site, which would be about 70 to 80 feet. Okay. These are all still kind of very, very subjective till we get into the actual design and we actually start talking with our design professional about what these things that we want to do. We're going to talk about sizing, massing, what it needs to look like. All those are part of the design, which is basically going to be a lot of charrettes. There's going to be a lot of charrettes about this. So yeah, we're going to be.
And I'm sorry, how far away from the sidewalk?
We're actually looking at, it won't be any closer to the sidewalk than Falcon Hall is now. So we're not going to have it any closer to the sidewalk. We're actually looking at actually increasing the green space with this building if at all possible. Okay.
Before I take the next question, Ms. Mills, will you explain what a charrette process is?
I'd be happy to. A charrette process is where you get a lot of the user groups, folks that are involved in the process, and they meet with the design professional to talk about all the different requirements that would be placed on how that building is designed. Not only what it looks like on the outside, you talk about trafficability, you look at pedestrian flow, drop-offs, what the academic folks need, the facade, I mean, what it looks like on the outside, down to what the color of the brick is. You talk about everything that you think about in that, so that when that design professional comes back with his first rendition, it should be something that everybody can kind of look at and says, okay, that's close, and we continue to tweak it till we all think we've got something that's good for everybody.
Thank you. Question in the middle? Yes, sir.
Sir.
Oh, microphone, please.
Thank you. I have two questions, if I may. The first is, will this charrette process include design considerations at different locations besides at Falcon Hall?
Actually, once the design, we need to figure out, that's one of the reasons we're having these meetings, so we can figure out where we're actually going to do the site. Once the site is decided, then the charrette process will commence.
The charrette will be only after a site is
Correct,
locked in.
correct, yeah.
And then will the college commit to spend planning money that's due to be released this summer in studying the feasibility for construction at the Burlington Avenue site to meet its science and math needs?
At this particular time, that is not in the mix. And the reason why is because that particular site, we don't think, as I mentioned, is conducive to the math and the science based on the height of the facility. Okay.
So that's already been decided by the college?
It's pretty. I'm trying to think how to explain this. In operational terms, both for academics and for the actual operation of the building for the mechanical systems, an 8-story laboratory building is not very conducive. You never see 8-story, and the cost would be, I'm not sure what the cost would be there either. We're very limited on cost.
So that's a fait accompli?
Pretty much, yes. We're looking at other sites, yeah, other options.
Before you hand the microphone, will you just state your name and assurance, so we have that? And
Yeah, I'm sorry, my name is David Kaplan, and I'm a resident in Takoma Park.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, gentleman here. Name and affiliation, please.
My name is Tababu Asafa. I live on 7720 Carroll Avenue. My young son, 18, is about to finish school, and I'm hoping that he'll go to Montgomery College. I agree with the intention of getting the community input, but I have to be very honest with you. Have you walked on the campus? The demography is minority underserved. Here, I don't see the representation of the Takoma Park community. I'm sorry to be bold. And so when you say community, are you talking about the people who live around there, or are you talking about the people of Takoma Park? Your outreach is very weak. I think we need to expand this. I agree. Community input is very, very, very important. You have to pay respect to the wish of the community, but that community has to be expanded. And this is the first time I'm sitting here. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed because I'm marginalized from the process. And so many immigrants in this city are completely oblivious to what's happening here. So I think when we say community, we have to be the common agenda, not interest of our individual classes. I have to be very honest with you. I'm surprised the community that talks about Montgomery College is mostly white. The people who go to school are, at least their parents have to be here. Okay? When we say community, I'm sorry to be bold. When we say community, every community member has to be taken into an account. Otherwise, it becomes an issue of privilege. I'm sorry. So you need to do an extensive outreach so that the marginalized members of our community are sitting at the table. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to address that as well, because that was one of the things that when we were planning these community conversations, that we wanted to reach out as far as we could, and we sent out, the college sent out postcards to all the homes within a half-mile radius of the college, right? As well as it was in the newspaper of the city of Takoma Park advertising the conversations, right? We'll strive to reach out even more so, but that was our first line of trying to get as many people at these conversations as possible. Right? But it's documented. Thank you. All right. I want to go back on this side, if I may, sir, with the yellow. Yes, sir.
Which one, John?
Yeah. Yes, sir. The second one.
There you go.
Can you, may I ask you to stand up and state
Sure.
your name and affiliation, please?
Thank you. Richard, check. Richard Wheel, a resident of Takoma Park for about 35 years. I live on Takoma Avenue. Studied architecture, worked with builders, owners, developers, and my main concern is it does go back to the letter, the agreement that was written, and I don't believe the community and more people, as this gentleman has just expressed, have been included in the process, and that's my main concern, because we do support the college. We've done that historically, but we need to have that conversation with you and just be reasonable. We're just asking to be heard and to be part of the process. And so again, this is a good, I appreciate this, but to be able to be part of that charrette process as well and be heard would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you. Yellow cards if you're in agreement. Thank you. Let's go to the center now, if we may. Yes, ma'am. Yes. I hate pointing, but I have to.
Sorry, my name's Eileen Fitzgerald. I live in North Tacoma. I had two questions. The first was, I have been privileged to take two kids around to look at, who were both into science, to look at science and engineering buildings in many colleges around the country in the last few years, given they're both now in college. I have been in many facilities that have labs that are science and math, that are engineering, that are multi-story. So I'm really struggling with taking that off the table. I'm not talking about even where it is, but this premise that despite the fact that from state schools to private schools to a whole range I have visited that have that, how can, I don't know where that's coming from, because that is not the experience. And certainly, you know, if you drive downtown DC, you'll see multi-level, high, tall buildings with labs in it. And I have a second question.
Sure. So I think to your question, I would offer that this is actually proposed to be a multi-level science facility, either 3 or 4 stories. There's several factors that go into that. One is that you have to be very thoughtful about the coordination of space within these facilities. We know that typically for a science space, there is the actual classroom space, there's the laboratory, and then there's also the prep areas that go with that. I have been, much like you, on hundreds of college campuses across the country.
I'm sure you've been on more.
And in the state of Maryland, in particular, in terms of our community colleges, we actually have a survey out. There is not a community college in the state of Maryland that has a science facility that's over 3 stories. So the reason for this is that it is a cost constraint. So you saw that just to do the 3 or 4 stories that we proposed is about $85 million to design a science building at that point. We don't receive funding to be able to do a science facility. It's going to be a multi-story facility that will cost what it will cost to do that, and including, as someone mentioned earlier, putting parking. When I first started in my career, you would count a parking space about $25,000 to $30,000 for one parking slot. You go underground, you have almost tripled that cost for parking in of itself. So for us, the perspective is how do we maximize this investment that the county and the state has made in our science facility, and to design it in a way that allows us to have interdisciplinary space and also have space that's responsive to how we choose to teach these courses, because this is what is preparing them for transfer in the world of work. I would agree with you that there may be spaces across the country that has had science facilities that are far more dense or high. The reality about that, and maybe even University of Maryland College Park, but I can tell you one building that the University of Maryland College Park gets in any facility is the total cost of community colleges' capital projects, the total cost. So the capital budgets for community colleges is all of $80 million, give or take. So we've maximized this by being able to get multiple pieces of money over multiple years. That's the issue for us.
But you are not looking at the full costs, because you have in the Burlington situation, you don't have a tear down. You can get that building to the children, to the students, getting to the gentleman's issue about equity much faster because you have land right there. You don't have the health impacts on lots of people, including workers, the kids, the neighbors, and everyone else about all of that renovation. In fact, the Burlington property has no residential. So I think it is specious to say that we're only looking at the costs related to the actual building and not related to all of the construction, all of the costs that it's going to cost the police department, the city of Takoma Park to have that particular area constructed. You know, cops who are going to have to be there. But
That's
my
actually
bigger
part of
argument
what we
is that
have
you
to-
are saying it's not feasible. I mean, we both know it's feasible. So don't put out that the
It's not
eight-story.
feasible.
Well, the other gentleman. That's not true. You're saying that in that cost constraint, but not that it's not feasible to design a science and math
So I
building.
think for us, the reality about it is I have to take in cost constraint. As we have council members who are here, and we go through a very deliberate process to get capital resources at the county and state level. So yes, in theory, a building can be built as high as you want to build it, that has the types of things you want in it, provided you have the resources to do that. I don't have that, and let me just finish. There are also other costs that go with that, is you're correct. That is a part of the construction cost of this project. That $85 million is about looking at how we have to move equipment on, where we have to compensate for people to work overtime to do X, Y, or Z. So you are correct. That's a part of the total cost of that construction. I'm not being disingenuous in this. I would love to be able to say, DeRinnoe, you told me, DeRinnoe, let's figure out how we can get this building on the different spot. The reality is what we've spent, both in terms of the first capital plan and the second one that has been put forward. How do we respond to probably about 3,000 to 4,000 students that we have enrolled in science courses? We will not be able to build the type of facility that we need on the W1 or the Burlingame property. It is not a property that is conducive to that, and as we have indicated in every agreement that we have, we are not expanding anymore in Takoma Park. That's the only space that the college will have at some point to expand. And last but not least, it is a parking lot right now. We are at a parking deficit at the campus, about 1,200 parking spaces. We are at a deficit. We're a commuter institution. So I believe deeply that we have tried to be as forthright and honest in this process as we have be about what our needs are and what our students' needs are, and how to balance that with the fiscal realities that we have.
I have one more question. I'm just saying, you know, you are choosing parking over physical fitness. I would urge the county council that you need to provide them some resources to actually do an appropriate analysis and comparison and look at all of the impacts. I understand where you're coming from.
No, we
well,
did
then
it.
maybe you can share that with all of us.
It's actually on the website that we have listed. That there's a consultant's analysis of, I don't have my sheet in front of me. You actually had it on
but
the list.
it looked at all of the other adverse impacts of taking down, of the delay to the students, all of those other things. So we haven't seen that. The other question was,
I
you
need to
said
cut
that
you short, but you've
the
had many
footprint
questions.
was the
Right.
same. I just want a clarification. You said the footprint to the Falcon Hall was the same, but in the material that has been handed out before, the Falcon Hall footprint, as far as the adjacency to the sidewalk, is actually very different. So I guess the question is, have we been given the wrong materials, because that's not what has shown up on everything we've received.
Thank you. All right, yellow sheets, please. All right. The table, the question on the table, is the footprint the same?
That footprint is basically just a concept. The actual footprint will be determined during the charrette, during the final part of the charrette. So, but it's 134,000 square feet building, and both those plans have the same size building. So.
Not the same setback at all on the plan.
Well, I'm saying that what you see there is just a concept, which was part of the facilities plan that we had to provide. But the actual setback will be determined based on the charrette. And we're going to promise that we're going to be as much setback as we can. I'm a firm believer in green space.
I'm sorry, earlier you said that it would be no closer to the sidewalk than the.
Pardon me?
That's correct, and that is correct. It will not be any closer to the sidewalk than Falcon Hall is now, and if I can get more back, I will do that.
How enforceable is that promise? It's not on.
Excuse me, sir, I need to have you stand. If you wanted to be ask a question, you need to be acknowledged, and we need to get a microphone on you, please. All right?
Thank you.
Your name and affiliation?
My name is John Hannon. I live on Islington Street, very close to the campus. It's in Silver Spring. The last presenter said that the paperwork doesn't reflect that setback. You're saying that the paperwork reflects just a concept, and the setback will be different. You promised that the setback will be no closer than the no closer to the sidewalk than the current Falcon Hall. How can that be memorialized so that is continued in the future and is a clear commitment that won't be changed?
What we do is during the charrette, the original part of the charrette, when we get all the folks together, is we actually give that design professional a list of what I call a scope of work. And he will have a list of all those particular things that we want. And if that needs to be part of it, that can be part of it. We will list all those things on there, and the design professional has to design to what we want. And until we get that, none of us will be happy.
So I guess my question would be, coming out of this meeting, can it be documented that you're committing, the campus is committing, that scope of work to the designer will include some of the promises that you've said? So
Yes.
the written representations in this meeting will be documented?
Correct.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
correct.
Thank you. All right. Let's go back to this side of the room, if I may. Lady in purple, please.
My name's Monica Ettinger. I'm from Silver Spring. I have two quick comments. One, what Tebabu mentioned about who is here at this meeting. I applaud the college for trying to reach out around directly half a mile around the community, but you're not talking to kids from Kennedy, you're not talking to kids from Blair, you're not talking to kids from Northwood, and these are some of the kids who go to that school. So I'm not exactly sure how to reach all of those people, but that is part of me. It may not be that neighborhood within a half a mile. Second, I just wanted to ask this question. There was a lot of accusations hurled at the college about doing things unilaterally, and I'd like to give them the opportunity to respond to that. Did they make unilateral changes? Did they just make this change without talking to the community, or did they talk to the community and maybe some people didn't hear about those meetings? I'd just like to give them that opportunity to respond.
Since you weren't here, I'll let you not have to respond to that. When the college, and Sandra, I'm going to ask you also to help me if I get some of these facts correct because it's managed out of our facilities area. When we went through the facilities master planning process, we first go through an internal process with the college community to identify what the program that's needed, how do we look at enrollment trends. Those of you who don't know, math and science continues to be our most rapidly growing program of study at the college. And as a result of that, we look at projected enrollment trends, we look at space needs and how we design those spaces, and then we go out and take that and have multiple conversations in the community. Contrary to what was presented earlier, I will fully admit that maybe it didn't reach all the highways and byways of Takoma Park and Silver Spring, but what I can say is that we did invite, we had community conversations to invite people to that. We worked, Sandra, there's a list that we go through, that we collect the list and we mail those out. At the first community meeting, we probably had about 25 people who came to that, 20 to 25 people. From that, then we also then had a second one after that, where about 5 to 10, I think, came to that session. Two, would you like me to say 2? Okay, 2, I can say 2. Okay, thank you. Was I incorrect in the first in terms of the number? How many do you think were there? Okay, a dozen at the first one and then 2 at the second one? Okay. And then at that particular point, we went back, and what we had presented were, the first master plan had what you saw there, the 4-story building that was built in the one spot that was on the facilities master plan. What we heard is that the interest was not to have a 4-story building, and our attempt was to respond to that. So going to your question, we went then and revised the facilities master plan to try and do what we thought we heard. Take the massing off of the, make it not 4 stories, to spread it out, because we still have the same space need, but be able to move it out. Falcon Hall was then put onto the table as a result of that. One, that particular building is 39 years old. We have a significant challenge now in keeping it functional. And in fact, all 3 of our campuses where we have had major problems with our wellness and fitness areas because the state does not give us money for those facilities. They prioritize in the state academic buildings that deliver the courses that are necessary for degree completion. So as a result of that, we had to figure out how is our priority. We have programs of study that are required by students for graduation, and that is what we did because we can't expand in Takoma Park. We want this to be interdisciplinary. We have a finite amount of money to do that, and most importantly, how do we do it and be respectful of all the things that are happening there? And that was our attempt to be responsive. What I have learned since then, that was not the attempt that was appreciated, so that here we are in this set of conversations trying to rectify that. The Takoma Park campus is a significant, it's the first campus of Montgomery College. Our attempt is always to do it right. The reality about this is the challenge of also coming to agreement about what consult means, what collaboration means, and I think that we have a history, whether it be our pavilion, Building 3 or 1, the Commons, the Charlene Nunley facility. We've worked multiple times to be responsive to what the community has said. This particular building is a struggle because it is a building that's needed. It is large. I have no doubt about that. I don't have the ability, going with our previous question, of putting that on the Burlingame property. It will not fit there appropriately. It would not meet the academic needs of the institution. So unfortunately, I have 2 options. And I have also, I just need to say this too, I have been deliberate about honoring these community conversations. We agreed to this with the city. We laid out a process and how we're going to do this. I have not tried to presuppose an end. I've come to the first one. I've come to the second one. We're working toward an end to figure out what this looks like. And that end, here are the 2 options that we think can work based on the property we have, the money that we have. So how do we get to a point of saying, if you're saying, go back to the 4-story one, and we're prepared for the 8 years of construction, and we understand what that's going to be, and we want to have the pushbacks and all the types of things that are necessary, and the, what's that we call it? We stagger the building so you can put more in the front and have less in the back. There's all kinds of things we can do in that space. We're happy to do that, but how do we move beyond that particular conversation? And that's the struggle where we're in right now. And that was a long response, and I apologize.
All right, let's go on. We had that side, we go into the middle. Gentleman right here. Yes.
My name is Rupert Chappelle. I produce video for the college, high definition, 3D, 360-degree video, and virtual reality for the planetarium. I have a question about the planetarium that's currently there, but before that, I think that there's something more important to say. And that is, when I look at this crowd of people here, this does not look like the community at Montgomery College. The people at our college are very diverse. We have a lot of people that are minorities, people from all over the world, all different countries, all different languages, all different faiths. Everybody gets together because everybody respects each other. We respect each other as people. Now, these people that are going to this college, and I urge you to go over there and see what I'm talking about. These people deserve the same educational facilities that our students in Rockville and Germantown have. And if you don't, then there's something wrong with you. Now, there's one other thing. All right.
We're looking at
the other thing is that when I started working here.
Your question is? Okay.
I have one other comment, but I'll ask the question. I'm producing content for a planetarium. Now, I noticed that there's no picture of the south of the planetarium that's currently there. Are you planning to demolish that along with Science South? And if you do, what am I supposed to do? How can I produce content for a planetarium that I can't look at my work on. And I'm producing educational content. The planetarium is used for science, astronomy, geology, and environmental. We have concerts, we have film programs, we have it's open for the community. And when we get a larger planetarium, it will benefit this community because you have a 360-degree theater that you can go to.
All right, thank you. Can we,
But what is the
get a
output for
response?
that? Also,
Right.
one
We'll get
thing, when I started work here, the west side of the campus, that was industrial. It was auto repair, auto painting, all that stuff there. Montgomery College got rid of that. They got rid of all that for you. They put up a parking garage.
All right, sir, please.
That blocks all the sound from the railroad tracks. And the railroad tracks are not a residential neighborhood.
Thank you. Response to the question about the planetarium, please.
We, as part of the new program, we are planning to have a planetarium in the new facility. Well, we're still debating on which plan we're going to go by. But there will be a planetarium in whatever facility we have.
All right, thank you. Folks, we are running short of time, unfortunately, as you know, all right? And it is 5 till 9. We still have a couple more minutes. I'm willing to go a few more minutes, right, as we did last time, right? But we will cut it off within 5 minutes. We want to get as many as we can. So, pardon me, I am trying to make sure I get, a lot of people have their hands up, all right? So let me come back over to this side, then I'll come over to you, ma'am, all right? We've had quite a few over on this side as well.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Joshua Briggs. I'm the Student Senate President-elect of Takoma Park Campus. I definitely represent the student body. Thank you, I appreciate that. I forgot your name, sir, but I agree with what you were saying about the level of community that is in the building. I urge that everyone reaches out through Montgomery College directly to the students. Because I represent the student body and I got an email from Mr. Brad Stewart, I was able to come today. But I believe that many other students didn't get the chance, obviously because of finals, but because they weren't informed as well. So I please urge that you reach out directly to us and our student leaders, because we can definitely inform the students of the process that is going on to affect their later years. My question is, are there any plans to replace the athletic facilities and or pools or anything afterwards, after the building process? That's my first question. And my second question is, when the construction is going on, when the construction is going on, where will classes be held during those times? Yeah.
Question.
Thank you.
Okay, in discussing the first question, which is where the athletic facilities will be, actually they'll have to be moved off of campus to either Rockville or Germantown, and we're still trying to work that particular issue out. Okay?
Pardon me?
The answer to the second question is that Dr. Rye, along with the provost for the campus and the registrar, are working to adjust class schedules, class times, and make sure that we can continue to have all the academic class we have on that particular campus.
Can I just add, and you can answer the question about that. The other thing is that for the athletic facilities, we're trying to figure out how to work with the city and the county as it relates. So, right now, there's a planned aquatic facility that's going to be about 1.5 miles from the existing campus that the county is building. It's going on, I think, Fenwick and 2nd Avenue near the Metro. It'll have an 8-lane competition pool, therapy pool, leisure pool, gymnasium with basketball courts, a social hall, game room, activity rooms. This is in the current CIP for the county. So our job, one, is that because we are going to have to take them off the campus, is how do we build partnerships with adjacent entities and facilities that will allow us to have our students, employees, and community members have access to that. This is something we're very much supported. When we first started this conversation, Mayor Stewart also spent time wanting to have conversations with me about helping to advocate for, where? Washington Adventist to do something there as well. So those are part of the conversations we have. But right now, this particular facility is something that we're quite excited to figure out how we can help partner with them to do programming there.
Just to add one more thing about that, the new county rec facility should be about online about the time we start to take Falcon Hall offline. Okay, so it should be a very easy transition. Okay.
So one of the plans where we are using Falcon Hall's space to bring this science building that allows us to keep teaching our science classes right on this campus. It has minimal impact. Some of the classes, math and others, will be taught out of P3 building. But this way this will be least disturbing to our students. So that's one of the benefits of the current thinking.
One more question, yes, ma'am.
I'm Marcy Stickle with the Silver Spring Historical Society. I think creating a working group is one of the most important things, comprised of historic Takoma and adjacent neighborhood representatives, as well as conferring with the Silver Spring Historical Society to provide our expertise. And we believe that the Burlington site would be a very good site to use. And then also, what about current campus buildings are AIA award-winning by the noted Skidmore, Owings, and Maryland. They fit into the adjacent neighborhood of single-family homes and adjacent to the Takoma Park Historic District. Montgomery County Historic Preservation expert Claire Lise Kelly features these Takoma Park campus buildings in her new book, Montgomery Modern. Why not work with what already exists? For example, continue the renovation of Falcon Hall with its gym and pool, remain size appropriate for the neighborhood, adaptively reuse and save parts of architect James Francis Stan's 1961 Science South. That is the fieldstone wall, the turquoise panelization, the awning windows, the window wall revealing the zigzag staircase. And can you hold this for me? The zigzag staircase and the rare planetarium. Science South is the earliest remaining building on campus. We should celebrate that. Save these parts and spawn a new building fully equipped from these unique eye-catching features. What a stunning endeavor from Montgomery College's architectural program. So spawn the new building, the new science building out of, just save the walls and the special, also retain the lovely natural civilized curve at Takoma and Fenton, featuring tall pines and flowering trees, picnic tables, benches, and we keep the Falcon Hall, the tennis courts, allowing one to catch one's breath, whether you're a student or someone in the neighborhood. So the bottom line, let's have a working group to discuss all these, not have anything decided ahead of time.
I am fully 100%. We actually proposed to the city to form a community advisory group. We proposed that because we recognize, one, this should be an ongoing conversation, and it's one that we should be very deliberate in having everyone at the table. Here's the thing that I think we get into, and it's actually been portrayed in this conversation here. We want to make sure that we have everyone at the table. How to make sure that we privilege all voices as a part of the conversation. And therein lies the challenge. I've said in multiple spaces that I am very resistant to the idea of having small groups that only have certain people in the room. That's not something I can support, because I know for a fact when I walk out, as I will, there will be many other people who will say to me, how are my interests being represented? How are you ensuring that there is a comprehensive and global view of the institution being represented in that space? So that's why I have been deliberate about these community conversations, to keep them on track. Once we get some agreement about how we proceed forward, there has been proposed in the letter that I sent last summer to the city to put together a community advisory group that has multiple stakeholders in it to help resolve some of the issues and to build ongoing relationships in this space. The last thing I would say is that I don't know enough about architecture to know about what parts of the science buildings that we can preserve. That's part of the benefit of us bringing on architect who can help us do that. What I do know is that those buildings are 56 and 38 years old, respectively. They are literally falling apart. We cannot find pieces for them. We have ADA and life safety issues in them. So I want to figure out, as you're suggesting, how do we design a building that is responsive to the historical nature and characteristics of the community, while also creating a facility that is not falling apart and allows us to be able to teach state-of-the-art science, that allows our students to be competitive when they leave Montgomery County at a four-year institution or if they go into the world of work. And I remain committed to figuring out how that is done. We've done it multiple times before, and I think that it can be done again.
Thank you. That's all the questions we have. Thank you to Dr. Ryan, Dr. Pollard, and Mr. Mills. As I said, our challenge tonight was time as well. What we want to be able to do is next steps of moving forward. What do we do from now? Is your comments that you have from the yellow sheets, the public comments that were made today, we will take all that, look at it, and determine how we can come up with the next meeting. If you have comments, please submit them also online. The online address is on your agenda, so you have that opportunity. Your yellow sheets that you had today, if you have comments on those, they're out on the table. There's a box there if you would deposit those. That would be helpful. And as I said, we'll look for next community. Our next meeting, all right, here's a little change. The date did not change, the location has. All right. We are moving the next building to the college. All right. All right, to the college. Yes, to the community college. Yeah, to Takoma Park campus. The next meeting that we have, the conversation meeting. All right. We will determine where, what building. We don't have that, but we will make sure we get that out to you. We'll send out the cards again. Your email, if you signed up, when you signed in this afternoon, we will make sure that that gets to you as well. And the last piece is the white index card that you have. If you would, give us some feedback on the effectiveness of the meeting today, right? And on one side, it would be what worked well tonight. And on the flip side, deltas, what would we change or do differently? If you could respond and provide feedback, that would be helpful. And again, outside on the table. Pardon me, we're not over yet. Thank you. We have the evaluations for the plus deltas. There's a box out on the table. If you would submit those as well, that would be helpful. And what we want to do is conclude. Mayor Stewart? All right. All right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Everyone's tired. It's really hot in here, and the AC doesn't work very well. I apologize. And I just want to say thank you so much for continuing with this process with us. And as John said, there will be more to come.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Drive carefully. Thank you.